brother. You want to get that info for me? What's going on here? Why can't I hear a thing? There we go again. There we go again. Deafness. Can you hear me? Want to throw? Someone put on your headphones. Can you hear me just fine? All right, cool. I should start the podcast pretty quick. It's past 8:01. I made myself a liar. All right. Music. Cut you. Welcome back to the Attitude for Gratitude podcast. Bye. Welcome back to the 22. The time to do the podcast. Listen, 2 years at another location has me sometimes misspeaking. We are down here at Will Work for Recovery, 2520 North 2nd Street. This podcast was birthed out of 2218 First Avenue South, the Alano Club there. And we still support that club, and we still go there. We talk about meetings. Matter of fact, tonight at 9 o'clock at 2218, there's a dance. So go check it out. We have events all around the metro. We got the big Tater Tot extravaganza happening at New Hope Alano at 6 p.m. on the 24th. We have all sorts of stuff. There's a painting deal going on here tomorrow. I think you had to pre-register, so if you're not in on that, I'm sorry. MINEC, we do a meeting here at Will Work for Recovery last Sunday of every month, 10 to noon. All are welcome to attend. It's a committee. There's tons of positions to fill. If you want to be part of it, come on down here. Get yourself a position with MINEC. Minnesota Narcotics Anonymous Committee. Something like that. It's close enough. It's NA stuff. But come on down here. Check it out. Come be part of the show. Come on down. Be part of the club. They've got foosball table, ping pong ball table. They got a gym. They have a workout room here. They've got spiritual rooms. They got a big meeting room. Someone want to kick that door open and make sure it stays open? You know what I'm talking about, Dale? Yeah. All right. You know what you're talking about, Dale? Dale's the man. What's your name again? Alex. We got Alex, Dale, and Jake going to kick the show off with us today. A lot of stuff's going on in the recovery community, though. So come on down here. Come get on the show. Like, come check it out. This is the podcast. This is what we do. We talk about recovery. We share, too much Red Bull. We share about meetings. We share about recovery. We share about hope. We talk to people about stories. There's going to be some changes happening on the podcast. I believe we're thinking about going for 2 and 2 or maybe 3 and 1 where we keep the format we have now, but we are going to go back to an interview show. I did an interview with Dangerous Men organization, which I will be putting out here shortly. I'm not sure when. What's up, Squid? And it felt good. Back to the whole thing where I can interview. We can get into some good substance with stories. You guys got to experience a little of that last week when Jake had some people in here. Because once people start kind of clearing out, then we can spend a little more time with people and we can get into some stories. We talk about like higher power stuff. We talk about people's experience, strength, and hope. It's just hard to do when you're doing 5 to 10 minutes a person. So
I call it the deep dive hour.
Oh, bop, bop, bop.
Oh, there. Look at that. Oh, hey, I can hear myself now.
All right.
I call that the deep dive hour.
The deep dive hour. Yes, that's what we do. So we talk about this every week. If you're out there struggling, please reach out. You see my phone number going across the bottom. We've got the number for intergroup going across the bottom. If you're having any thoughts of self-harm or anything, we got the hotline that's going across the bottom there too. I've got some of the information about meetings that take place here. 2520 North 2nd Street. Will Work for Recovery. You're worth it. So come on down here and check it out. We know what the alternative looks like, and I say it every week. Like,
I'm going to grab a couple slices of pizza before it's gone.
You're good. Get after it. Pitter patter. That's the other thing. American Pie Pizza is one of our sponsors, even though we don't do sponsors here. They just bring in some delicious pizza. Will over at American Pie Pizza, which is 6529 Nicollet Avenue South. Check them out. There's a lady named Miss Gracie in the program here. If you're in the rooms, you know who I'm talking about. And she vouches for their chicken, their fried chicken, which is
freaking the bomb.
Yeah, it is.
So good.
It reminds me of the old Country Bar or Shorty and Wags. Like it's some of the best fried chicken I've ever had, and that's a bold statement. I keep jumping around. Here's the main thing, guys and gals out there listening. If you're struggling, please reach out. You're worth this happiness. You're worth some recovery. You're worthy. Like, if no one's told you, like, you're loved. You're worth this new life. Look at this. Will's the best. He brings me the best pizza in the world.
Brick.
Like, I need it. So we're going to get into this. As the room starts filling up with people to get after some of this American Pie pizza, we're going to start talking recovery. Who are you?
I'm Dale.
How long you been doing recovery?
A little over 2 years now.
Alex? That was your name?
Yep.
Alex. How long you been doing recovery?
On and off since 2016.
How long you been successfully
But
doing
I'm,
it?
What day is today? The
Friday?
9th?
The 9th?
Yeah.
Okay, just about 5 months. I'm at about 4.5.
Nice. Way to go.
We do sound effects here at this
I know, I've been on it
podcast.
before.
Oh, you have? That's right.
Yeah,
right.
when Jake was hosting.
Young man,
What? Yes.
pay attention.
I apologize.
Phone down.
You don't apologize.
You never apologize.
Who are you?
I'm Jake, and I'm an alcoholic.
Jake will be stealing my seat very shortly. We're going to do a half hour with me in this spot, and then Jake's taking over while we have a room full of people still. Jamal's going to just get on camera, but not on air.
I'll be here next week. I got you.
Yeah, we'll wait patiently. Here's what I want to talk about real quick, you guys.
Real quick.
Real quick.
Hurry.
5 months. And you've been doing this since 2016?
Yeah, I've had stints of like.
What's the hardest part about staying clean?
Actually, what I experienced last week. My mom died when I was 18, and because of the way the night played out before she died, and past traumas of hurt, emotional and mental trauma from abuse from her, when she died, I wholeheartedly believed she committed suicide and I was the reason, and that is still a big factor in my life. And when it hits me, this month is the anniversary of her death, the 28th of this month.
Okay.
And so around this time of year, I hit a bad spiral where I start, like last week, I was contemplating either going to use or feeling I'd be better off dead than feeling what I'm feeling.
Okay.
And so that's normally my big flag, along with mental health. If I stop taking meds, if all that gets out of check, then I'm more susceptible to use.
So, quick question. What? Hey, napkin? So here's a question for you. You know that this coming up, and right now it sounds like it's going to be a problem. It's going to be something you're going to have to face, and it's going to be a struggle. What tools do you have that you can combat it? Like, how are you going to deal with this?
Oh, well, it already flared up last Friday, a week ago.
Okay.
And so I was a mess from Friday to Tuesday.
What'd you do?
But every day, like I was leaving treatment early just because I was so in my head. I didn't feel comfortable there. So I left. Ended up getting kicked out of New Way. But I was going to places and reaching out to people I knew I could open up to and expressing what I was going through. And it didn't really get better until one of them sat me down and said, "Have you talked to God lately?" And he had me write down everything that was bothering me and all that I'm struggling with right now. And while I write it down, talk to God. And so he left his office, shut me in the room alone, and I wrote for probably 20 minutes. And while I was writing, I was struggling with conversation to God because it had been such a long time since I reached out in prayer.
What day was that?
Tuesday.
On Tuesday?
Yeah. And that's what, and then.
So then Saturday kind of set up pretty well for us.
What? Step 4?
Well, we did step 3 on
Hang on a
Saturday.
sec. Wait. Is there a relationship here I don't know about?
He's my sponsor.
Oh, now it makes sense.
So with that said, like you have your sponsor sitting here, and you did bring up something. Someone suggested talk to a higher power.
Yeah.
What did that look like for you? Just kind of try to. You don't have to get into details that are personal, but like,
Right.
how would you explain this to someone else who comes? Pretend I can't even. I'm dealing with the same thing you're dealing with, and you tell me to like. Have you spoke to your higher power? How would you walk me through doing that?
Well, for me personally, as I was writing, it would hit me, emotions were flaring up. And so I was in a room by myself and no one was around, and I just talked out loud as if I'm talking, and picturing he's present with me, because the way I believe my higher power is he's everywhere at all times. So even if I'm alone, I'm still in his presence. And so I just talked out loud like and almost like a cry to help.
Okay.
Not really seeking attention, but more like this weekend really brought me to a humbling position, which I can say as to Jake, it was much needed for the most recent parts of.
It worked out right where you're supposed to be, right?
Right.
Like when
And that's what I was, and that's where I was like, holy crap! I'm trying to run from stuff, and I'm about to be going through the 4-step, and it's getting.
Well, I mean, it lined up like, and that's the other part is that I've learned that nothing happens in this. Like nothing's a coincidence, right?
Right.
There's nothing that I find that you know that old saying is it odd or is it God?
Yeah.
And we had met at Founders Day back
Yeah.
in November, and it was about 2 or 3 weeks later. You asked me to sponsor you.
Yeah.
So right around this time, when you're in this darkest point, we get you into your 3rd step, and we get on our knees together,
Yeah.
and we do a 3rd step prayer, just as you're starting to establish and see where a relationship with God looks like, or opening the door to be willing to have that relationship. It lined up just when it's supposed to.
Yeah, and it like,
Take the spot. I don't want you sitting here doing this.
and I'll wait for you to put the other headphones on.
Don't let
You're
me
good.
interrupt that. Keep going.
Keep going. You're fine. We can still hear.
Else here. Alex,
I go.
thank you for getting vulnerable and sharing.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving.
I've got you.
I got your spot.
He likes that.
He's. I got.
Battery's up.
I just got here.
Perfect.
Come on.
All right, keep going with that though.
Continue where you were. I lost my train of thought.
Well, we were just talking about, like, you know, the old saying, is it odd or is it God, and how nothing really is supposed to happen before it's supposed to, right?
Right.
And but where the time that you had asked me to be your sponsor, I had no idea. You know, you had opened up early on and told me that your mother had passed away, you know, when you were younger.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what time it was, you know, what fraction it was. So it's not like I had
Right.
the ability to manipulate and line this up to be your 3rd step right around this time.
Right. And that's where like I've had faith since 2019, but there are still fears and stuff to let go of. And that's what I was struggling with this weekend, is everybody was telling me let go, let God. And I'm sitting here in my emotions and I'm like, I can't comprehend that. And so on Tuesday, at the point where I got it was instant relief. It was instant relief. And so I didn't really feel the relief when I was writing it out and when I was talking to God. But after I finished, he asked me, are you done? Do you have anything else to put on there? And I said, no. And he had me folded up real small, and he brought me to a cross that's in the building, and he had me pin it to the cross. And he said, now leave it there. And at that point in time, if I was an easy crier, I would have been bawling, because I felt a surge of emotion, like I'm about to just break down in tears. And part of my trauma symptoms is, as soon as that comes up, I shove it down. And so I only cry like once a year, and that's the initial freak out of Mom's death. And I did that on Friday of last week with my dad. And then we met Saturday. Didn't really want to, but I knew I should, because I got to do what I got to do to stay sober, because I was in crisis mode. Didn't really let you on to that, but told you I was having a hard time, but didn't express really what it was. But no, that moment with God made me realize I need to continuously stay with God, because I go through bits and almost like waves, a continuous spree of waves of being active in faith and getting a good spiritual life going. But and then all of a sudden it'll be like placid water, where the momentum of my faith plateaus and dwindles down to a stagnant standstill. And when that happens, I'm more susceptible, because I look back last year. Last year, I was in a faith-based treatment center. I had been there for a month, and Mom's anniversary came around. It hit me, but I didn't have an episode like I did this week. And instead, back then, I was surrounded by a faith network and a community of faith and a good spiritual life and or a spiritual routine. And I was able to handle it differently than this year. And this year, being out of that treatment center, it hit me, and it hit me hard. To the point I told someone I was contemplating jumping off the high bridge. Yeah, it had gotten all bad.
So when you're going through all this, obviously there's a lot of tools that you are learning and you're practicing old tools that you had picked up since 2019, like you had mentioned. But then you're also going through and grabbing the people around you, because that's the tool that you have right now, and that's the other part is like one of the biggest tools that a lot of people don't think of in times of crisis is fellowship.
Mm-hmm. That's why I was showing up to Robbinsdale every day of a meeting like 2.5 hours early, except when you picked me up. That day I was contemplating busing there at like 1 o'clock and just sitting there because I knew it was a safe place and I could wait for the meeting to start. I could try and decompress so I'm not too much of a mess before the meeting.
Yeah, and that's the other part is that you are a member over at Robbinsdale.
Yeah.
So you have access to that building at any time you need.
Yeah.
So that's another big tool is
Being able to go there and unlock the door, turn on the TV onto sports or something, and then make coffee and just be able to sit there. It's
No. Don't care.
the way life is playing
Something
out.
else.
I'm already seeing growth.
and it sounds like you're exactly where you're supposed to
Right.
be right now.
Because I almost tried going back to that treatment center. They told me show up Wednesday morning before 9 o'clock, and they'd let me know if I could come back. But I talked to him Tuesday night. He said Kari said I could start tomorrow. So I was like, and then I was like, well, if the sober house says they'll work with me for
Start
getting
what?
start work.
You got a new job?
Yeah.
It's worth celebrating.
Yeah. So I work Monday through Thursday now. So I have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off.
Nice.
But no, with this option of starting work, and I talked to the owners of the sober house, and they said I could. They'll email me information about setting up a payment plan for this month because I got kicked out of treatment beginning of the month, so I'm gonna have to cover this, and I don't have money right now. So they're willing to work with me, and so I'm hoping to get it on track. I got some other addictions I got to get a rap under control. Gambling is one, big one. When I get emotional or uncomfortable to the point of like I'm restless mentally, not restless physically. When I'm restless mentally, I go to gambling to escape that restlessness. It's hard for me to sit with myself.
Restless, irritable, discontent.
Are you on mute? No, you're not. I couldn't hear you through my headphones. Hey, Dale.
Yeah.
What kind of things do you get to stay present for in recovery today? I'm sorry, I'm kind of cutting in because I'm going to
What do
boot
I
Dale
get-
soon. What do you get to look forward to and be present for in recovery nowadays that you're clean?
Well, what I really look forward to today, which was a great way to start my morning off at 12:13, my daughter called me, and I got to be there to say happy birthday to her. But she's listening right now, so again, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, young
Happy
Dale
birthday.
daughter.
Yeah, that's Kira.
Dale daughter.
Dale daughter.
She turned 16 today, so stay off the sidewalks because she will run you over. After
Oh, she's
today.
driving too, huh?
She will be driving here on Tuesday, I believe it is. So,
Scary fun.
yeah. No, I get to be present for all the fun things in my family's life now. So that is the most important thing.
So as you guys can tell, Jake and I are kind of dual hosting, and he's got his sponsee on who's going to be staying, and Dale and me are going to be getting up here shortly. We got a couple other guests that are going to hop on with you two. Tell us about your gratitude, Dale. Or before you do, is there anything you want to share about or say before that happens?
Well, all I got to say is, I'm really happy that you're working on your steps with them. It's a great thing to do. When I first started mine, it was a big, big prevalence in my life to get through it. And all I can say is no matter how deep and dark it gets, the better it gets in the long run. Especially when you go to start your 4-step, don't be afraid to put it on the paper, to put it all out there.
Yeah.
And
I can
we'll get
interrupt
there.
here and also say one thing is that you're fortunate to have a sponsor who's been through this and worked with many of other men. I've heard horror stories of people who've tried to go through these steps and have had bad experiences with sponsors who didn't sponsor. They tried to do something different besides sponsor. A sponsor is someone who just walks you through the book.
So, this is my 3rd time going through the steps, and this is the most intense time I've been going through it.
Well, you got a really good sponsor for it.
The first time I went through it, I was pagan, and not really practicing much faith. And I didn't get much out of the steps that time, and the book was just a book to me. It didn't speak to me. This time around, the second time, I didn't even go through the book. I just went through the steps, step by step, without the book involved.
Right.
Now this time, I'm going through the book, and I think every time I've been in the book with Jake, it's been a slap in the face that day of something where faith is yelling at me,
Right.
and where it's like, yo, faith gets you this, not yourself, and that's where I struggle because. My trauma, I relied on so much of my own coping skills with no help as a kid or as a teenager without being able to express things. And that led into my addiction and fueled my darkness that I was in.
You know what?
Now the faith aspect is going through the big book. I'm actually getting hope going through it the more with you, and because I've read these pages before and they were just words on a paper. Like, now I'm actually getting the meat and bones out of it.
Meat and taters.
Yeah, the meat and potatoes, not meat and bones.
Well, you said something too, like trying to do it on my own. Prior to this program, I thought I was going to learn how. I thought I could figure out how to use on my own. I thought I could live life figuring it out on my own. Well, that got me to these rooms.
Yeah.
I needed another man to take me through this book. Whatever. Dale, tell us about your gratitude.
Oh, shoot. You know what? Just happy to be upright and have my pillows, blankets, and all my other good stuff in life right now. I'm just really, really happy to be here today, and I'm just happy it's my daughter's birthday, and I got to talk to her today.
Oh, yeah, and she's our dad on
yeah,
here.
she's on watching us right now, so you got to love that even more.
So you'll hang out and hop back on.
Most likely.
I'm going to go grab Dustin and Tristan, who came up from Florida to be on the show with him, and you two boys are going to talk with those two boys.
All right.
Sounds good.
And Alex, again, I appreciate you getting a little vulnerable and sharing, but over time you'll see, like, for me, I can speak for me, is share that shit.
Yeah,
we
normally-
share about everything, use over nothing.
Normally, I'm used to getting this deep with Jake after most people leave, and it's just a few of us in the room, and then we get
And that's
a deep
huge.
conversation.
That's huge. Hey, Tristan, Dustin, batters
Well,
up.
I can say, since we've been working together for about 60 days, that I can see the growth that's happened before you.
You're up, Jake.
You've definitely gotten more vulnerable, and not like with me, but with other people in the room in different situations. You've been able to share your experience so they can benefit others.
Oh yeah, like that message I sent in our group chat for the DOA meeting about how it's hard time of the month for me. My mom's death. That's not normal for me, and normally I hold it in until I break.
Who do we got in the show?
My name's Tristan.
Tristan?
Welcome.
My name's Dustin.
Dustin.
Welcome.
to the show, guys. So we'll back up a little bit and talk about one of the topics that Alex kind of touched on a little bit was fellowship. Dustin, what does that mean to you? What does it look like in your life?
Fellowship is a huge part of my recovery. My guy's up here from Florida right now, and that's just kind of what the basis of my recovery is showing up for each other. You know, I can't just come to a meeting in a couple days and that's it. My whole life revolves around doing stuff, UFC fights, Super Bowl parties, not so much the dances, but the go-karting. I went to breakfast this morning with an addict. I went to lunch with him today, and it's just kind of what I do.
Tristan, what about you?
Fellowship for me is just being surrounded by others in recovery. Like, once you stop using, you got to learn how to live life without drugs, and I do that with, other people in recovery. So I do regular stuff, concerts, movies,
Gym.
sports games. Gym is super important to me, but everybody I hang out with is in recovery. So
I have a question for you guys about fellowship and recovery. For me, it's not my first time getting clean, but I'm only 4 months clean right now. And this time around, I feel more socially awkward and socially out there and hard to connect at times. Did you guys ever struggle with that during the early recovery?
yeah, for me, I absolutely did, and I still do to this day. But I put myself in positions like this, become, get uncomfortable. Just what you did right there, that's working on, putting yourself in a position to break through that, awkwardness and anxiety and uncomfortability.
Yeah.
You just keep doing it, and it does get easier.
Yeah, I would say that I'd walk up to a stranger to get high, get drunk, or get laid, you know what I mean? So I kind of do the same thing here,
That's a good way to look at it.
All's that awkward and uncomfortableness you're feeling, all's that is your addiction telling you to stay out of here. Because because the second you get high and you go to jail, you're going to have to talk to somebody.
Right.
You're going to have to, once you start drinking, drugging, and messing around, you're going to have to get involved with somebody somewhere. So what do you think's going to happen? They're going to pull down your pants and pull on your ding dong? I mean, you know what I mean? Who gives a fuck?
Ding dong.
You know?
No, I had felt socially awkward in previous stints of sobriety and I felt like I put on a mask sometimes to try to fit in and be what I thought people wanted me to be, or to kind of try to be a puzzle piece and fit into
What they wanted,
what
you thought you need to be.
Yeah, or what I thought they wanted me to look like. And I realized like that was so painful. And eventually, this sobriety, this length of recovery that I have now, I became so genuinely me that some people, they have no idea what kind of version they're gonna get of me that day, but they're not surprised by it either, because sometimes I can be really goofy, sometimes I can be really serious. But no matter the whole thing, like I'm still along the same lines of who I am.
I've seen you go from serious to laughing to
exactly.
back to wanting to serious.
And you also see me spiritually unfit, where like I'm like
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Like for example, when we're in the car together, how you can go from you can shift so quick.
Oh yeah. See, and that's just it. Like I have to, if I don't remain humble enough to be human in front of other people, then I'm actually going to hinder myself, because at that point I'm not going to be genuine enough to open up into this fellowship and actually get some type of connection, so that when people see me hurting, they're not going to be able to look me in the eyes and say like, "Are you okay? What's going on? Talk to me. I'm here for you." Right? If I can't be genuine around them all the times, how are people going to be able to recognize the hurt in my eyes?
That's a very good point.
Well, and the other thing too is, man, it's just, are you willing to do whatever it takes? I don't know where you came from, but I came from nothing. Like, it was death, or that was it. It was the end of the road. I was an IV drug addict. I either had to find out what's more uncomfortable. Come in here, shake a couple hands, say hi to a couple people, because as awkward as you feel when that room's packed, every other person feels the same way. That's why every night when I'm in here, I walk around this room and I say what's up to every single person.
Yeah, didn't you say hi to me when you first got
probably
here? I was sitting in the chair, and I think you did.
Probably. I say hi to everybody because it helps me, and maybe it helps them because they come in, and everybody's in their own freaking head. Yeah. Everybody's thinking about something, and they're worried about what other people are thinking, but nobody's thinking about you. Everybody's thinking about what's in their freaking head. You know what I mean? And then we use that as an excuse to, I don't need to go do this. I don't need to do this. I don't need to show up for this. And the thing is the more time you got in sobriety, the easier it is to float away and forget about where we came from.
That's called resting on your laurels.
You know anything about that, Tristan? How long you been clean, Tristan?
Coming up on 9 years. But the sad part about that is I probably haven't been to a meeting in like 6 months, and I'm in town to visit my mother. She's not doing very well. I went to Florida to get clean, and I'm up here because she was diagnosed with cancer, and although I'm not using any drugs and haven't in almost 9 years, I'm still going through some pain, and showing up to a meeting tonight was something I really needed, and I think it's good to show like the newcomer, like even though we got time, like life shows up.
Well, and the other thing, like meeting people, right? Like I met him in Florida 7 years ago. And I make it a point with people in my life, right, to pick up the phone. It is a point. If I haven't heard from him in a week or two, I call him. Like he'll tell you, I don't like to text. I'll give you a Snapchat in the morning, but I'm insecure. I need to hear Tristan's voice. Hey, are you good? What's going on? Because I can send you a text with a needle hanging out of my arm. I can send you a text sitting in front of a slot machine. I can send you a text when I'm doing bullshit. Like, I need to hear your voice. You know what I mean? And I don't know if you want to call it God, the universe, or whatever, but God has put people in my life, and for some of these people, I just hold on to them. And lucky for me, you know, me and Tristan have been friends now for almost 7 years, and it's like, this is what recovery is about. Like, he called me a couple weeks ago. What do you need? You need a place to stay. You need a vehicle. What is it that I can do to help? Because when I was in active addiction, people showed up for me, and now that I'm in recovery, I get to show up for the people that need it, right?
Yeah.
So find your people, and if your people are co-signing bullshit, get new people.
Absolutely. You know, that's the whole thing about, you know, that resting on your laurels type thing that we were just talking about. Dustin kind of touched on it a little bit. You know, when you get those thoughts and feelings that, you know, it's uncomfortable here for me, or I don't want to do this, I don't want to reach out. That's ism, right? Ism's going to sit there and try to continuously beat me down. And the first thing it's going to do is convince me, like, I don't need to call this guy, or I don't need to show up to my meeting, or so on and so forth. So, you know, it's good to have that kind of accountability, you know, that you got these friends up here that will get a hold of you like Dustin. But the other big gift about this recovery is that you get to show up for your mom.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. And, you know, obviously, you know, being an IV drug user and an addict at one point, like, that was not a concern. I wasn't able to show up for anybody. Not my mom, not myself, not anybody, you know, and I'm able to do that today. I'm able to face life on life's terms, even though, you know, my life is great. The life that I have built for myself, but this is probably, you know, I've lost dozens of very close friends to overdoses and death for for many years, you know, but now it's my mom, you know, so this one is hard to hang on to. I'm using what I've been taught in the past, and it's acceptance. I need to show up and be present, you know, and I don't know. I need to fall back on my recovery and my meetings and stuff, because, like, I already feel better, you know.
It's a blessing.
We're glad you're here, brother.
Thank you.
We appreciate you showing up in the rooms.
Yeah.
I can empathize with that. It's your mother who has cancer. When I was 18, my mom overdosed and died from a fentanyl. She was prescribed it, so nobody thought it was an issue, but she put on enough patches to kill 2 people and died in her sleep.
Damn, man.
And see, and this is exactly what we're talking about right here, right? I guarantee you at some point in this night, you didn't want to come jump on this mic. I'm sure there was a point of you that didn't want to come to this meeting tonight. And then we get in our head, and then you got a pain in the ass like me that's like, fuck it, we're going. And not only we're going, we're getting on
the.
the...
Gonna come, and then
Yeah.
I said, something's telling me to go.
And this is what it is, man. We share over everything, and we use over nothing.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum, boys.
Pain.
Hold on, before you go, give me your gratitude.
Man, I'm just grateful for the people in my life, man. I'm grateful that God has put me in a position to show up for people and put me in a position where people have shown up for me.
Awesome. Well, Dustin, thank you for
Wu-Tang.
coming on the
Thanks
show.
for coming on.
Tristan,
That's
before
right.
we say goodbye to you and wish you well with you and your family, what is your gratitude?
My gratitude is that I can show up today for my loved ones, my family. You know, I can lean on my recovery. Like, I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to be clean. You know, I'm very grateful for Dustin for showing up for me, and thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Tristan, I'm grateful you showed up and came on the show.
Appreciate
Best
it.
of luck to you and your family.
Thank you, brother.
You'll be in my prayers, brother.
Thank you.
You'll be in my prayers as well.
Thank you.
Over there. Who do I got on the show?
Am I staying on the whole time?
You're staying on until I tell you otherwise.
Hey, my name's Tyler. This is my second week coming here. Pretty new in recovery, but
Were you on the podcast last week?
I was not.
Okay, so it's your first week on the podcast.
Yeah. So
Welcome, Tyler.
thanks.
Who do I got over here?
My name's Cooper.
Cooper?
Everybody call me Coop though.
Coop?
That's my brother's name.
Oh, funny.
Nice.
I have a good friend who's we call Cooper or Coop.
Welcome to the show. How long have you been coming to Woolwork?
Maybe about 5-6 months now.
5 or 6 months?
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
You been on the podcast before?
Never been on the podcast.
Well, hey, welcome. Both you guys first time
For
on the
sure.
show. So we like to ask a few questions here, and we go in a little bit, and sometimes if I don't like your answer, I push.
Sounds good.
Fair enough?
Let's do it. I like
All
a
right.
challenge.
Cool. All right. So I'm going to go real light and keep it up. I asked a few people earlier on the show, what does fellowship mean to you, and how does it show up in your life? And if you can also include how you show up for fellowship and how you're part of it.
For sure.
Coop, we'll start with you.
Fellowship for me is, or what it means to me is getting together like this. Finding some camaraderie and like feeling like you belong. And how I do it for you guys or other people, I show up. It's like presence is everything. You might not think that just showing up is that impactful, but let's just say it's somebody who looks just like me and only me, right? And he comes into a building, he's like, God damn, all these white dudes, right? Because I haven't been in a situation like that, but you look across the room and you be like, okay, there we go, and sobriety don't have no face. Addiction doesn't, so why should sobriety have it? Yeah.
That's a really good point. Say that one more time for the people in the back.
Sobriety doesn't have a face. Addiction don't, How to,
I like that a lot. I haven't heard anything like that before, so
for sure.
that's why I wanted to drive that point home.
Yep.
Tyler,
Yeah.
first off, you're brand new to Willwork, right?
Yeah.
What's your first
Welcome.
impression when you walk in here?
I felt very welcomed, and it's a cool space. Like
Everyone
can
here
tell.
is very welcoming, but like the space, you always walk in, you're like, they have meetings here?
Yeah, it is. I've never been super, all about like AA. It seemed like this sort of clinical, kind of religious type thing, and not shaming anyone. That's not really my thing though. So it was kind of a relief to come here and see all the cool crap on the walls, and hear people's stories and hear that they don't take it. There's more flexibility to it. It's broader than I thought it would be, and it's just really nice to have a place to be that is not the bar. Like I kind of have learned recently that one of the reasons I have been drinking so much is just because I need to be around people. It's not about the chemical at all, because like I was going to the bar, not the liquor store. It's a lot cheaper to buy a bottle and go and sit in your room by yourself. But the real draw for me was being around other people and just having a warm environment to just simply exist in. And so that's what this place very much offers. You got the comfy couches.
Oh yeah.
You got all the cool stuff. Like, I know that's all like superficial, but I think that makes a difference. Someone put effort into making all of those pieces of art. Put effort into putting them on the wall, arranging it in a welcoming way. And like you were saying, it's not just about words. It's about, actions speak louder than words for me. So you can tell that people are here to do this for real. And so am I.
I just want to make one little comment based on, what you think. AA is not religious.
I know,
And-
but that was my impression of
Right,
it at first, and
and-
I'm my own closed-mindedness about it.
If there's anything I can do to help, with that view for you, I'd love to, reach my hand out for that. Otherwise, I'm not here to convince you otherwise.
I don't know.
But what you were talking about leads perfectly into the fellowship aspect, because you were talking about how it was welcoming, how it was, you see that, it's a different type of atmosphere, it's laid back. Tell us about that.
I guess
Because you were talking about that you want to be around people.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's what led you to the bar, was that there's people there. The opposite of your loneliness is to be around and surrounded, and the bar offered that type of atmosphere for you.
Mm-hmm.
But now you have that in this type of a situation, right?
right, and I think that's a big deal. Like, whatever word you want to use for God, the universe, nature, fate, all that stuff. I think the main thing that I I use in place of that to kind of reconcile that in my own life is that everything's connected. We're all connected. We're all on this planet together, no matter what words we use to describe our experience. And, showing up and being here is more important than whatever labels we want to put on things.
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, like I call it fellowship.
Yeah,
it
I
could
like-
be called
I like that.
gathering. It could be called socializing.
For
it could,
sure.
Community.
Community. Like, however it comes out, it doesn't matter, right? And some people use higher power. Some people use God. Some people use spirituality. The whole thing, that doesn't matter. Being connected. That there is that's a power greater than ourselves. Is all of us being connected together, because solo, I'm nothing, right? Solo is what got me here into these rooms on a losing streak, because I never walked in on a winning streak, and I have not met anybody on this show or otherwise in any other room that comes in and says, life's been treating me so well, I thought the only way it got better if I got sober.
Right.
Right? No, everyone comes in defeated, right? And this is like the I don't know what else to do.
I mean, yeah, that's why I'm here.
It's a very broad, open mind aspect that you have, and it's very fresh and welcoming. And I just want to comment on it, that it's that's some people will struggle seeing the word God up there, and it's like that's just cheaper to write those 3 letters in the book so many times when they printed it in the 30s than to say higher power or spiritually connected or grand scheme, whatever it comes down to. 3 letters was the cheapest way to go. But
But I want to
thank
comment.
you
All right.
for saying that.
But I want to comment too, right, about the God piece, right? And like when you come here, you're gonna see like a million different facets of everything. Like it's when I first walked through the door, I'm like, yo, this is weird, But you're gonna see God, and you're gonna see this, and you're gonna see that, and somewhere that you look, you're gonna find something that's you, Because I'm weird, But
I like the weirdos, so.
But there was a saying, or there was a little mannequin in the corner over there, looked like he was looking at me, and I was like, yo, that's me, But
you're gonna have to show me this mannequin.
figuratively speaking, but you were gonna find something. There's a mannequin there, but yeah, you're gonna find something that's you.
So let's go into the next part. I'm going to keep it a little bit on the simple side. I don't usually go too hard in the questions till after 9. So Coop, what motivates you the most?
So I like to challenge myself every now and again,
How so? What do you do?
So about a year and a half ago, I was released from prison after doing 14 years, right?
Whoa!
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So whole new world, whole new fads, whole new styles, everything. Complete switch for me, right?
Now my brain is immediately grabbing at this. You look very young.
Yep.
Were you young when you went into prison?
Yep. I went in when I was 15. I got certified as an adult.
Wow.
I got sentenced to 20 years. Did 14.
You
So
have a powerful message behind your words already.
Absolutely. So 15 years old, getting sentenced to that much time, impressionable going in when I was 15 years old, Of course, you're 15. Finding the strength to get through whatever I had to get through to get out there, to get here. Get out here, confident, cocky, did the college thing, built some type of strength to at least walk out of prison, right? And get out here, and life was like, well, that's prison. And this is this, no way in hell I could have ever prepared for what the hell I was gonna face out here. But like anything that you don't know, you're gonna trip and fall. So that's what I did. And every day I find myself wanting to either walk normal or talk normal, but in the same fashion, wanting to embrace me, that naive 15-year-old boy who's walking out of here, a 32-year-old man, and so it's a challenge, My sobriety is a challenge, I'm 4 days sober right now.
Well, hey, welcome. Congratulations.
Yeah. So yeah, but powerful message, man. There's a lot that's behind me, but
But that's an experience that you like. You know, in the program they talk about. We'll see how our experience can benefit others.
Absolutely.
And you have such a powerful message behind your words. And like, you know, this is I only know what you've just told me. Same with the people that are listening. And I'm already like inspired and motivated, and I'm like, this guy Coop is going to have such a powerful message, and he's going to be help people in such a unique way that other people won't.
For sure. And I'm a believer too that like every trial that we go through is it's strength training, you know. Yeah, guys, I was in the joint when they be like, oh man, I can lift that right there. I can lift that 350. All right, well get up under there, you know. Show yourself, you know. And basically what I'm doing right now with my relapse, with my upcoming 1,000,000 years of recovery after this, you know, is strength. And it's not only for me, but it's when I walk into these rooms, somebody's gonna be the only such and such a looking dude to look like me and be like, oh, okay. And bring his shoulders down a little bit, you know, because I am like.
Well, like you're saying, you know, like you know, people say, "Oh, I can lift that 350." You, like you said, well, show me. Get underneath it, right? That what that really is screaming is that our actions will speak louder than words.
Absolutely.
Right.
You know. Yep, for sure.
This was such a great question to ask, right? Like I had no idea.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Tyler, how about you? What motivates you the most?
You know, I'd have to go with. I'm gonna go with yo-yoing. Might be a weird sounding answer, but I was on a competitive yo-yo team when I was 10 years old, 9 years old.
And what does that look like? Competitive yo-yo? Is there like traveling? Is there leagues? Is there like...
So yeah, there are. There's a variety of contests. There's like nationals, regionals, state competitions, worlds, all that stuff. I was sponsored by Yomega Yo-Yos, so I was on Team Yomega. So. You go to malls or whatever. They set up a stage. Yo-yo competitions are set to music, so you get 3 minutes to do as many tricks as you can. Make them as fun, entertaining, as synchronized to the music as possible. You get points for how many tricks you do, and like showmanship, music use, choreography. Use of space, all that kind of stuff, very similar to like figure skating, dance competitions, that kind of stuff. And I kind of got screwed out of one of the competitions on a technicality, and it just sort of started this weird domino effect during that year of my life when I was like, 9 years old. So after that happened, I went on tour, and you travel to the malls, all that stuff. And the first time I went, there were a couple of these hot shots from Hawaii. So they're like world-class, extremely talented yo-yoers. And they were huge bullies. They like locked me out of the hotel room. They were saying horrible things about the kids at the demonstration that we're trying to sell yo-yos to.
For like a second, like as you're going on telling us about these yo-yos, I'm like, oh wow, this is such a wildly different lifestyle. But then you go into talking about like how, there's shitty kids, right? And like there's bullying going on, and like I'm immediately relating to everything you're saying now, where I'm like, wow, that is, it's no matter what our thing is, like if we're into yo-yoing or if we're into chess club or jock club, whatever's going on, like we.
Right.
It seems like that the experience comes out the same end for a lot of people.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. It's like many faces of addiction, right?
Right. And not to say that that's where it starts, but like we can all look back and we can point to like a hurt, some early hurt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like after that happened, there were a few other things that happened at school, whatever. I was the fat kid. I had a lot of issues.
Still am.
Yeah, you're always the fat kid a little bit. Yeah. It never really goes away entirely, and that's not a bad thing. But I kind of put the yo-yo thing on the back burner for a while. I got into other stuff, theater, music. Just went about my life, tried to make other stuff work, and then during the pandemic lockdown, I found my old wad of yo-yo strings. They're all tangled up.
Wow.
And I was like, this is my life now. This is what my life is like. And
So the pandemic helped you rediscover some old hobbies that you had.
Absolutely.
But for you, it wasn't a hobby, right? It was
No,
it
this
was
is
a
this is a
lifestyle.
lot more than this is like what I want to do in life, and that's kind of what
Yeah, so
I
it
found.
was your complete lifestyle.
And since then, I did my first yo-yo competition last year for the first one in 25 years.
How'd you do?
I got 7th out of 8th people, but I definitely got crowd favorite
Nice.
because I recreated the Napoleon Dynamite dance.
Nice.
I got a shirt printed that says "Vote for Yo-Yo." I found some, aviator safety glasses. This is on YouTube if you want to check it out. It's at the Mall of America every year. But what really motivates me is using that to connect with people, because we're talking about words, all this stuff, connecting with people. People are so insecure. They're like, oh, what do I say to this person? And what I've learned through the yo-yo is like, I don't have to say anything. I just have to do what I'm doing, and people will talk to me. I get to spread good vibes everywhere I go if I want to. If there's a cashier at the gas station who looks like they're having a bad day, I'd be like, do you want to see a yo-yo trick? And 99%.
Great conversation starter.
Yeah, 99% of the time it's yes, and if the answer is no, I know there's, that person's having an extra bad day, or, there's something that's a big red flag, and it's really kind of clarifies things. So that's what keeps me going, is just trying to spread some sunshine. So,
Alex, what motivates you the most?
Knew it was gonna come to me.
You knew,
I
you
just
didn't
wanted
think I
to
was
sit
just
quiet.
only going to sit here and talk with Coop and Tyler.
No,
right?
I was hoping to just sit here quietly.
Yeah, you can hope all you want.
What motivates me the most? I'd have to say a hope for a different life.
So hope for a different life motivates you the most.
Yeah.
What are you doing to follow that motivation? What does that hope look like, and what kind of actions are you taking towards that?
Trying to process grief, trying to process trauma, working on a lot of things, trying to keep stability, because mental instability can lead to crisis, which then leads to use, then which leads to wanting to kill myself, and then which leads to self-harm because I don't want to kill myself, and then it leads to cycling into use and back and forth. It's a vicious cycle. I've been, let's see, I'm 31, so 19 years, I think, out of my 31 years has been in some way, shape, or form addiction. Since 12 years old, I've been struggling with use of some form, shape, whatever you can think of. And so, even if it's just a faint flicker of hope, when I have that hope, I can endure what I'm going through. Even if it's hard, for example, when we talked about this week that I've already shared about, I did the things I was supposed to do in order to keep from using or harming myself this past week.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it took everything I had, the hope for a different outcome is part of what drives me. And with my faith in that aspect, when I don't have the strength to get me through it and I'm at my breaking point, my faith can tap into my higher power, or God, whatever you want to refer to him as. I say God, but can tap into his strength, and in my weakness is his strength, and I can get through the dark times that make me want to kill myself. So.
All right. Do we have anybody else that's waiting to get on the show?
I don't know. I've been on here for quite a bit.
Nobody else is waiting on the show? All right, well, I guess
I want to
you
go
guys-
smoke.
Too bad.
All right, man. Thanks for having me, dude.
Oh, you're trying to get off?
Oh, I'm still on. So long. Hey, Julia Austin.
I brought my yo-yo. You want to see some tricks?
Man,
Yeah, show us a trick.
All right.
let's do it. Austin, you better be watching. My stepson.
I was
Now,
watching
is
him
this-
last week.
is
He's
Is this
pretty
like
good.
is there different models to yo-yos?
Oh yeah, there's different styles. There's off string. This is called freehand, so it's not attached to my finger. It's got a counterweight.
Okay. Neat.
Yeah, that reminds me of me doing poi, except he's using the yo-yo and I used fire.
Okay. Is the music coming from the yo-yo?
That'd be
one magical yo-yo.
Oh, okay.
Is the- That thing just spins indefinitely.
Holy cow!
Nice.
Thank you.
Give him the applause button for that.
Let's go.
That was slick. So, Coop, tell me, what are you doing for your recovery recently? You did mention that you're coming off of a new learning experience.
New learning experience. I'm trying to get better every day.
You're better at what?
Yeah, he lives in Elk River now.
No, I don't. So
Like I said, I'm gonna push you.
for sure, and I like the challenge, right? So better at what? So it gets so easy for me to become complacent, right? And I think it stems from that super disciplined thing that I had going on for 14 years, right? Because you're doing one thing, and then you're doing number 2 and 3, all in the same thing, right? And so it's so easy for me to get structured, even disciplined, even if it's not disciplined, doing the right thing, you know. So I can get lazy. So I'm taking steps to fight that, to combat that. Just got a new job yesterday. I'm back
Hey,
welding.
where are you working at?
Yeah. So I'm working Maple Grove. I'll be welding.
Nice.
Got my welding certificates in the joint. Got my whole college thing and did all that.
That is fantastic.
But for the last few months before this, I got complacent. You know, I got chill and just chilling. I got a good family that supports me. Kind of been leaning on them a little too much and kind of got disciplined doing the wrong thing. So just stepping out and challenging myself, you know. And it's so hard to do so when discipline, even if it is doing the wrong thing, is what I'm accustomed to, you know. And it sounds crazy, but it's a thing, you know. 4 days sober, you know, longest 4 days of my life, right? Because first 30, 60, 90 days is the hardest, but before that, it was months. But I don't know. I'm challenging myself. What I didn't say earlier with the gratitude piece and what I'm grateful for is the family that I just mentioned. My drive for wanting to be sober and staying sober is I know that there is so much that is against me as far as the stereotypical person or guy that goes into prison. So young, he's impressionable. He's gonna come out sagging with face tattoos, and he's gonna do this and he's gonna do that, you know. Or he's gonna get out here, and the real world is gonna show him what the real world is like and eat his ass alive. In a way, that's what happened, you know, because I end up doing drugs and becoming addicted to substance. But
it sounds like what you're doing and the way that you're describing it is what your experience is does not define you.
it doesn't, and that is like my biggest motivation, because I got a family that dude, they thinks the world of me, you know, and they're right there helping me, saying, "Yo, Coop, we know what's in you, Coop," you know.
Coop, do you have a sponsor?
I don't.
I have a guy I'd like to get you connected with off air, and I would like to get you guys connected. He's one of my sponsees, but he has no sponsees right now.
For sure.
And he's able to sponsor.
Let's do it.
And I think you guys would like just fucking connect and rock and roll pretty well.
Let's do it.
So
Yeah.
if you're willing.
I'm willing.
Go closer, as close as you're comfortable getting.
I'm willing.
Cool.
For sure.
Closer.
Tyler, what are you doing for your recovery? Recently.
Recently, I just kind of came to a point where like I just couldn't do it anymore. I was like, I need to do something different, anything different, whatever comes next that is not this, that is like sober and healthy and all that stuff. I'm gonna do what I need to do, no matter how difficult it is.
And what is it that you do what you need to do? What does that look like? What are those
Right.
actions?
So getting into this sober house was actually a pretty big ordeal. I was lined up.
Hey, you got in a sober house.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
It is.
It feels good.
First steps.
The first one didn't work out for whatever reason. Had to go to the hospital for a few days, and they hooked me up with the one I'm at now. And I've just been following the rules, trying to get out of myself and my own judgment and listen to the stuff around me, because what I would, the whole thing, what I'm doing isn't working. And
So does that structure that you have in place now, does that add a new avenue for you, or is
Definitely.
it something that you're trying to adjust to?
I'm on disability, so I haven't been working for a little while, and I've found that I do miss working. I like this, at least the structure of it. I wasn't able to function when I was working, and it's hard to go from having 10 hours of time every day occupied by work to having none of it and just being left to your own devices. Even though that, it was 100% the right decision, it comes with its own difficulties as well. And, just kind of slowly adding that support and that framework around myself, I think has definitely been helpful, even though it's not fun. So.
Right. Yeah, if it was going to be like that, that's why they call it work. They don't call it fun time, right? Like
Right.
we have to put work into ourselves so that, fun time, we can recognize when it's fun.
But like, I'm yo-yo guy. I want to be a kid forever, and just everything. My brain wants everything to be fun. So I'm trying to
Oh yeah, like that's the other thing.
acknowledge that, but
when
know that that's not going to lead me where I want to go.
Sure. Yeah, when I got sober this time, I rediscovered that I'm a huge nerd, and I really enjoy playing Magic the Gathering. So
Me
I
too.
started doing that again, and going to card shops and playing with other random guys, and like that, because I was sober and been in rooms and got comfortable being uncomfortable. I was able to just sit down with people I've never met before and be like, "Do you guys want to play Magic?" Right?
Yeah.
Just and found that I'm having a lot of fun again.
Absolutely.
Alex,
Yeah.
why do you look like you're like, oh god, he's gonna ask me?
I'm not.
You've been killing it.
Oh god, a question again.
I'm fiending for nicotine.
What are you doing for your recovery lately?
I was actually thinking of what I would say along this, because this last week took a lot of effort. Even if it was a small, simple choice, as going to sit somewhere around other people, even though I feel alienated and alone, just so I don't go use or go do something stupid to hurt myself. Because since last Friday till Tuesday afternoon, I was in an extremely dark place, and there was no reason. It seemed like it was instinct, just doing what I could do in the moment, not to go do what I want to do to escape, but in the long run, I know it'll make it worse.
Well, if you want to go smoke, give me your gratitude, and we'll find someone to take that spot.
I'll be back on when we get to the deep dive.
Okay.
You just-
But, dude, I want to applaud you for being here, though.
Yeah.
It's a big
like,
deal.
it's something about just doing something that's super fucking uncomfortable. It's super effing uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's like,
I don't
I
even
played
know if
the.
anyone even here has a cigarette.
I don't have a cigarette,
I'll find one.
Can't help you, friend.
but applause to you for that, bro.
Yeah, thank you. What am I grateful for?
What are you grateful? Well, yeah, give me your gratitude.
I'm grateful for the connections I'm making, even though I feel uncomfortable at times and awkward, and don't feel like in my head they're just temporary and they're not going to last. But going forward with them in any ways, just because it's what's helping me stay sober.
Right on. Well, thank you, Alex, and we'll see you back on the show when you
Yeah.
come back.
Will do.
Whenever
If you
that
find
is.
someone else, get them on here.
Hey, who's getting on the show?
Ray.
Ray.
And she wants up too.
She wants up.
What's up?
That's my cue.
I should probably get going pretty
Yeah.
quick here.
All right.
so.
Well, before you leave, Coop, give me your gratitude.
My gratitude.
Mike, brother.
My gratitude. Julie Austin, Netta Portia, Tanisha. Me.
Who are they?
That's my family.
That's your family.
You know, yep. They see something in me that nobody else sees, dude, or who I believe no one else sees. But they're rooting for me regardless. So I'm going home to them now.
That's awesome. Well, Coop, I'll tell you, I see a lot of life in you, and there's a lot of spark in your eye, and there's, I honestly, like, I say this a lot about new guys when they walk in the room, but I honestly fucking mean it. But I'm excited to watch you grow in the community,
For sure.
and I'm glad you're here.
For sure. All right, man.
Don't
Thanks.
run off though. I got to get you this number.
All right.
Tyler, what's your give me your gratitude?
I'm just grateful to be here tonight. Thanks for having me on. I'm grateful for my friends, my family, and I'm just grateful I'm still here. So,
Right on.
thanks. Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks, Tyler. Appreciate you. Can you give me 10 minutes on here?
With who?
Well, just
I'm not kicking you out. There's only 4 of us left.
I just want to chat with Coop for like 5 minutes.
Oh, you want to get off?
Yeah, I just want to go chat with Coop for 5 minutes off air.
Do you think the audience needs to know about all that? Go. You're good. Go. Us 3 are going to handle business now.
Okay.
Who are you, young man?
I am Ray.
Welcome back to the show.
Drug addict, alcoholic.
Drug addict, alcoholic. Sorry about that. Who are you?
Jocelyn Addict.
Welcome back, both of you. Talk to me about life. How things been going, Jocelyn?
Man, life's been on cloud 9.
What do you mean?
Like, so I hit my 1 year.
Oh, hey. When'd you hit that?
On Friday I am. This Friday.
Today.
Huh? No, this coming Friday.
Oh, I take that back because we don't front clean time. So hopefully, if you stay clean, and a week from today, you will have 1 year.
Yes.
Hey, tomorrow's not promised.
Exactly. But I'm excited. I'm going to be having my family come for clean time.
Oh, yeah. Up here?
Yeah, and my son, which is really exciting. They all get to see, the people that have helped me through it.
Hell yeah.
Also, I'm starting to go to college. Back to school. There's the applause. Okay,
There's
there we
the
go.
right. There you go. Yes, we applaud that stuff. School. Where are you going to school? Do you know?
Anoka Ramsey.
That's what's up. Anoka Ramsey. What are you going for?
A business. I want to run my own business.
Okay. And do it what? What do you mean? What kind of business? You got to have something in mind, don't you?
Yeah.
What?
Okay, so I like Once Upon a Child, Plato's Closet, those consignment resale stores.
Okay.
Yep. And
And you want to learn about like the ins and outs of running a business.
exactly, accounting and all that fun stuff. Life's just been amazing the past few months. Everything just seems to be getting better and better ever since I got sober. I mean,
Oh, wait a sec, Ray. I think she just said something that's pretty important. What do you know that's the main reason why?
yeah, I do.
Why? I mean, explain.
My mind got right. Like 4 months in, I came to Will Work. And once I came to Will Work, I kept seeing everyone around me doing bigger and better things. So then I decided, okay, I'm going to pay off my tickets and get my license and then get a car. Did that. And then after that, work, get to know people, sober people, get connections, and then think about what can I do next? What can I do next that's better for me that I haven't done, And so I applied for grants for college and just
Pell Grants and all that stuff?
Yeah.
And did you get them?
I'm waiting
Okay.
right now.
So when is the tentative start date? Like, do you know when you're going to be starting or what's the plan or hopefully the goal?
April.
Okay.
That's me.
Ooh, popular. They heard that someone's like, you're going to school on me? So life's been getting better and it's because you're sober.
Yes.
Period.
Great.
I get to see my son. I get to do fun, sober activities, and not only just sober activities. I get to do more than what I got to do when I was getting high, and be proud of it.
And be proud of it. Like, that's the big. You know what, Ray? You can share. I know. I think you said you have 44 years, correct?
46.
46. I wouldn't short you those 2 years. You worked hard for him. I know you have. 46 years he's been doing this. Speak to what she said. Like, give her something.
Well, when I was young, I had a major concussion, and because of it, I had a learning disability, and feel fortunate that you can go to college and be successful, because I could never do that. There's no way I could ever do that. I'd have to have special ed through the whole thing, and they probably wouldn't do it, because I tried a couple times, and they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't give me special ed through college. So.
So you missed that she gets a year on Friday, and she was just sharing about how great her life has gone.
Next Friday.
Next Friday. We don't front clean time. I
We don't
explained
front.
that.
Yeah,
So she was explaining to us that, like, she's going back to school. She's going to college. She wants to start a bit. You have plans.
Yes.
You have things that were these even an option in your brain before you got sober?
No.
So like you totally. For people that will be listening to this and people that are listening to this, like to correlate that full circle is sobriety is the only reason why you're able to do the things you're thinking about doing.
Yes. When I was in active use, I had warrants. I was running for my warrants for 2.5 years. And even I got stabbed in the face twice in both my kneecaps, and I still wanted to get high. So I left the hospital and still got high. Instead of, plus I didn't want to
And
get
you got
arrested.
stabbed and all that shit because of use, right?
Of course.
I mean, you weren't at the library and this happened.
No, I was over south.
It wasn't at church.
Yeah, well,
Definitely
it
not.
didn't happen at church or the library.
No.
Or your knitting club.
Well, it could have at the library with the free Wi-Fi.
All right,
but
okay. So, but like what we're getting at is it's like to us who've been doing this, like it's a no-brainer. But to see someone like about to hit a year, and maybe you already realized it, but to realize all these things, these options that you have, and it's because you're sober today. Like people should hear that and hear it from someone who's about to get a year. I think that's really important to share that stuff.
It was like my life was on pause when I was getting high, except for it wasn't on pause. It was kind of like a negative rewind, and I had to, you couldn't fast forward. You just had to go through the steps and what is the word? Just take initiative and finally step up and do it,
I lied. Jake, you come back over here because there's something I got to be in and out for. Ray, 46 years. What would your suggestion be to her for her future with recovery ahead?
Find one group every week that you swear to go to, and go to it consistently, because that's what I did for a long time. And when I first sobered up, you had your choice of step groups or step groups. So I suggest you find a group that does steps, because that's how I made it. It's not the big book for me. It's the 12 by 12. It's not open. So
my main groups I actually go to Monday night here at Will Work, Wednesday night here at Will Work, but also Tuesday night candlelight meeting in the gym in Columbia Heights. We have dodgeball after. It just keeps it fun, because in my active use I was always trying to do fun things. And then when I got sober the first time, it was like being sober was the most boringest thing. And I needed some sort of what is it?
Stimulation?
Yeah, I needed some stimulation to want to be there, Because if we're sitting there, for me, if I'm sitting there reading a book, I'm going to fall asleep. I used to go to Blaine Alleno. Nothing against Blaine Alleno, but the people there were good. But sitting there reading the book, even though I wasn't high, I was still wanting to fall asleep. I needed something to keep my brain active. But I do have main groups that I go to every week. Then I come to this one when I get off work a little early. But yeah.
Okay.
Well, what do you guys want me to do? You want me to put you in some deep dive where I really push you, or do you guys want to do some light work?
Deep dive.
You want to do some deep dive?
Sure.
All right. What was your name?
Ray.
Ray?
Yeah.
And you are?
Jocelyn.
Jocelyn. I'm probably going to mess this up. Jocelyn.
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 Yeah.
Okay. Rosalind and Jay.
Ray.
I'm kidding. I'm making light of the situation. You're looking at me like this guy. What a prick.
Hey, I remember last time we were talking about dragons, so it's okay.
Dragons.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the dragon talk.
And the aliens, so.
Oh, that was like the very first time I was ever, like when I was real early in the show and before I knew that I could have so much more freedom with what I do.
And what you say and what
And
we
I
talk
say,
about, yeah.
I thought I had to follow Timmy's like little, like, you know.
His little
standard-
paper ones?
Yeah, I thought that's what I have to follow. Sometimes it's just like, oh, these are what I go to and I'm like, light work. But when I push, you know, I do questions of like, what is something you had to learn the hard way? Right? Have I asked you that question before?
No.
All right.
Normally
Jocelyn.
he's on when I come on here.
Oh, well, he's playing with his toys.
Yeah.
So, Jocelyn, tell me and tell these people something that you had to learn the hard way.
You never get time back.
Explain. What does that mean to you? What does that mean that you never get time back?
I had to learn the hard way that spending time with someone is more important than like my son. He's 5, right? So I was getting high until he was like 3 or 4, and I'll never get those time. I'll never get the time back that I like pawn him off on someone so I could go get high. You know, like, hey, can you watch him? And like I miss certain things that he did, like first step, you know, first word, that kind of stuff. You'll never get that time back.
So what does that motivate you to do today to like change up how you approach how you approach life and how you approach the situation that you learned the hard way?
I go to his karate for those little moments. You know, I go to his karate or his t-ball. When he graduated, preschool, going into kindergarten, I went, you know, and I had a blast. You know, I went to those things. And just little moments. I'll have him call me if something in his life he wants to talk about. It's because those moments matter. Even if, like, when I can't lie, when I wasn't appreciating my time with him and I just get so irritated because he was crying or something, you know, or because I wasn't high, I enjoy his cries now, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Well put.
Yeah.
Ray.
Yes.
What is something you had to learn the hard way?
The hard way to stay sober.
Elaborate.
When I went into treatment, which was so long ago that now it's a nursing home, that
How long ago was it?
in 1977.
Whoa! Did they already do this for you?
Anyway, I went through withdrawals at 18 years old. And I thought they were all Gestapo out to get me. So I was running down the halls. They jumped me, put me in a straitjacket, sent me up to the psych ward for a while. And realizing that I was that bad off at that young age, that I had DTs and hallucinations and all that. That was a tough realization for me to change things.
So can I try to like paraphrase this because I've heard this version of it before, that it's easier to stay sober than it is to get sober. Is that kind of along that line?
Yeah. Now it is.
Yeah, I mean, like I remember going through withdrawals and the sweaty bed sheets and the screaming, the pain, the everything that was going on, and that's been part of my motivation. Where I think back to what got me here, what was my desperate moment, and obviously like I had the moment that made me want to get sober. But that moment was the solidifying, like I never want to experience that again. And I found it's a lot easier to be active in recovery, to show up to meetings, to work with other men, to read the book, to live this life than it is to get sober, to deal with the withdrawals, to consistently try to fight back and manage things my way and to suffer. And it's not just suffer while I'm high, but suffer from my own delusions, my own will, the things that I set up, and because everything I've ever touched has somehow come back to bite me, and the common denominator has always been me, right? So it's been a lot easier to do these things and live this life and follow along what the people who come before me, like Ray in the 70s, it's a lot easier to follow what's before me than to fight back and try to live what my natural ism and disease wants me to do and get sober. These moments are a lot easier.
You can relax in the moment.
Yeah, and that's something I never knew was a thing, right? I never knew how to sit still. That's people talk about like having peace. Still don't.
I love it because I can be content and happy at the same time. You know what I mean?
Explain.
So, like you're saying, what he was literally just saying, just being happy, being content, like sitting still,
But what
being
does
happy.
content look like for you?
Literally sitting. Like if I've never been able to sit down and watch a TV show when I was getting high or before that, and now I can like not have to worry. I could just sit and watch a TV show and not have to worry, and not have to worry about what's gonna happen next or who's gonna come through my door. Is it the cops?
The brain buzz has quieted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that part.
Being traced. I'm not being traced by anybody anymore.
Right.
I don't break the law, so nobody's after me. I go to church. I do all that good stuff that normal people did while I was out using.
Enjoy, right?
Yeah.
It's just something that normal people enjoy, and it's
Yeah.
part of like their routine or what they do.
Yep.
And for us, we're like, I don't know how to do that. It's like, well, just show up and like, I tell me how I do that.
Eventually, what happens is you get enough old timers in a group, and they'll be like the Holy Spirit talking to you, and you'll gain all this knowledge of how to be at peace and how to be one with God, and how to do the third step, which is made a decision to turn our will and lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. Turning our will and our life over is really difficult at first, but then after you do it, you find all this new freedom at the end that you never experienced before.
We're going to dive more into that after I bug Alex about this, because Alex just did his third step and is practicing. But so we'll touch on that in a little bit. But Alex, you mentioned something about you mentioned about facing mental health issues. You talked about trauma in your life. But what is something that you had to learn the hard way through those experiences?
That no matter how much I try, I can't do it on my own. Like in my head, I can. When I try to do it on my own, it just leads to more chaos and condemnation towards self and self-defeating thoughts. What else? I had it just spaced.
No, that was good. That was really good.
But no, because growing up, well, let me just put it this way. Connection for me is hard. Growing up, being bullied, not having many friends, didn't make too many connections. And the only time I started making connections was when drugs were involved.
And then even then, after drugs were no longer involved, you realize how fast those connections fizzle away.
Oh, yeah. A majority of them fizzled away. I realistically only think 4 of my connections during my addiction stuck around throughout my life. And we still talk to this day. And for the most part, we're all sober in some way, shape, or form, or trying to get sober.
Very good. So we're talking. Ray had brought up talking about the third step, which is that we turned our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him, and as we understood Him is in italicized. So that is how our interpretation is of Him. It doesn't mean that we turned our will and our lives over to the care of Allah or Jesus or Thor. Like I can name off 100 different deities, right? It's how we understand them. But the main aspect of that is still the same action, right? That we are no longer going to follow these things in front of me. And basically, the third step and the simplest way I can put this in is the way that the book puts it out, and it says that God will provide for us so long as we stick near to Him and perform His work well. So to me, the third step, like when I did the third step prayer out of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, that was my spiritual contract. I entered a spiritual contract that says, whatever you put, the next right thing you put in front of me, I will do, and I will have faith, right? And like, this is where I start to learn and practice a little faith. That I will be taken care of. Things will work out. I don't have to sit here and freak out and obsess and worry and chase after, making sure I have, $10,000 in the bank account or have the biggest house on the block or so on and so forth. I trust that I'll have shelter. I trust that I'll have a belly of food. Like that's the deal, right? I will do the next right thing in front of me that you put in front of me. And that's how I see turning my will and my life over to care of God and not following and chasing what Jake wants. Whatever's put in front of me, I will do. And that's the simplest translation I've made that I've learned, and how I explain it to my sponsees. And as we go through the third step prayer, and as we read about the actor, who, we are like the actor who wants to control the whole show, that type of stuff. But I'm interested to hear your guys' experience and back on that. Ray?
Well, my experience is this. I've been sober all these years, but I'm not a millionaire. I live in an old trailer. I have a cat. I work as a security guard every now and then, but I'm retired, so.
Wait a sec. If I stay sober for 42 years, I won't be a millionaire?
But you'll have a cat.
Not necessarily, but you'll have a cat.
You'll have a cat. You won't be a millionaire for staying sober, but you'll have everything you need by staying sober.
Yeah, you'll have what you need.
Thank you for the clarification.
So I have everything I need. I have a car that works. I have a house. I have a roommate. I have stuff like that. I have a girlfriend. I have all kinds of good stuff. And I'm 64 years old. I'm getting old. I'm starting to fall apart physically.
So what does it look
I'm
like?
falling apart, and I'm only 31.
So what does it look like for you because it's a daily choice, right? Like it's not something that it's something we have to practice at every day, right? Every day we wake up. Like you hear the old joke, especially from like long timers, of like, is that God?
Popularity contest. It's her mom.
So I've jokingly talked to like some old timers, like, how long have you been sober? And they'll look at their watch and be like, well, I woke up at 6 a.m. today, so whatever time it is now. And it's like, oh, okay, I get it, right? Like you make that decision every day that today I'm not going to use. Today I'm going to turn my will and life over. Today I'm going to try to be better than I was yesterday. At least that's how I've approached life, is that I get a decision every morning. Every morning I get a decision, and based on what I did the night before, the decision becomes easier. But for you, what does it look like to have your will and your life turned over?
Okay, one of the things that brings me closer to God is that I work like third shift, like 10:30 at night until 6:30 in the morning. And I start working tomorrow, and I work for 2 days. And that's pretty hard for an old guy like me to stay up all those hours.
Right.
And I pray a lot to help me stay awake and to do my job and, just to function. I pray to function up to
And
his
you
will.
find, he gives you the power that,
Yeah. I
comes
haven't
along.
fell asleep once at work, and I've been working for months, so.
Right on. Not bad.
So.
It's as simple as that, right? Like,
Yeah,
we don't have to overcomplicate.
Everybody
these
tries
things.
to overcomplicate everything, and it's really quite simple. Just do the next right thing.
I mean, I'm really good at overcomplicating. Really, really good.
I'm an expert at that.
Jocelyn,
Yeah.
Have you been through this part of your recovery
What do you mean?
to turn your will and your life over?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Surrendering.
About it. Yeah. So tell me about that. What does it look like for you, and following God's will as opposed to like Jocelyn's will?
I think I was like maybe 5 or 6 months clean, and I eventually was like, I have to give up on everything I know now. Maybe not everything, but everything that like I want to do, like get rich quick things, and just let it happen. I got a job, just kept going to work, just kept paying my bills. Then eventually I had enough money to get me a new phone, got a phone, just kind of went with the flow.
Right on.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm not really a complicated person, except for it's a yes but no world all the time.
Say that again.
So I'm not really complicated. I'm not one to make things complicated. I'm not really a worrier, but it's a yes but no world all the time.
Yes, but no.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about this yes but no world that you would experience, especially maybe if you can incorporate this into yes but no, which means it would be kind of following along your will.
It's kind of like, yes, I want it, but no, I shouldn't have it. You know?
Oh, that way. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I guess my brain went an entirely different.
So did mine.
Yeah, I went so far out of left field with like where I was hearing that.
That's why I say I'm a very simple
I wasn't
person.
even on the field anymore.
You were in the blimp.
Yeah, because I'm like thinking, oh yes, but no. I've done that 100 times. Where it's like, oh, will you do this? Yes, but no, I don't want to. Or you know, it's like that's as simple as my brain made it. Like that was as simple as I could make it in that moment. You know, like Ray said, you know, we're really good at overcomplicating things.
Yeah,
I can overcomplicate a hello.
Yes, but no. But when you say yes, but no, yes to God and no to myself.
Right.
That's where it's at.
And it really is as simple as that. You know, like, do I want to show up to the meeting tonight? I mean, there's part of me that's like, well, I just worked 9 hours today, and then I'm tired, and it's been a long week, and I would like to stay home and do my own thing, which means like not wearing pants
And video games.
and maybe play some video games and stuff like that. And you know, that's what the other thing I found, like exercise, like the correct exercise of my will, right? And it talks about that in the 10 step. Like we can align our will to the best of our ability. So that means like if I want to play video games and not wear my pants, that means I need to show up to the meeting. I need to be present. I need to, you know, be in the moment and follow what is put before me, so that tonight when I go home and I take off my pants and play video games, the internet's going to work and the video games are going to fire up. I have found it's really crazy. Like if I skip out on a meeting and I'm like, I'm going to play some video games, you know, or whatever, suddenly the internet's hiccuping, or none of my friends, or none of my friends are online. Like the whole reason I want to play video games is because I have friends who play video games with me. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to stay home and play with my friends. Nobody's online. And then you shoot out the group text like, hey, anybody going to get online? And everyone's like, well, I'm doing this, and I got to take the kids to karate, and then I've got to do this other thing. And I'm like, I should have gone to my meeting, right? Like I had time. And that's where I, like, those are those really small moments where I'm like, oh, that was an improper exercise of my own will, right? Like, if I do what's before me, then after that, it's okay to play video games. If I follow what this program has guided out, then there's those moments that I can get away with playing video games. Maybe not as long as my alcoholism wants to, because like if a little bit's good, more is better. But that's where I find like my will, when I insert my will a little bit into here. Alex, tell me about your step 3.
I plead the fifth.
You're not at the 5th yet.
This is in court.
This is in court. I don't know. I struggle with it. I overcomplicate it.
No.
I overcomplicate everything. I can overcomplicate my own thoughts. Like, I can have a thought and then I'll go down 12 rabbit holes just based on the thought. So I need someone to dumb it down to simple terms that I can understand, that I can't overcomplicate. Which, at times it's easy, at times it's hard. But I notice some aspects I'm good at turning over to God, and turning certain parts of my will over to God, and other parts I struggle with wanting to retain control of. Yet when I have control of it, I have no control.
That's a powerful, powerful thing to say right there too. And that kind of falls in line with like what you learned the hard way. When I try to retain control, I don't have control.
Yeah.
Right?
As my old sponsor, who is now a mentor, who is now, I don't know, I haven't heard from him for like a week, but he always would tell me, surrender to win.
Surrender to win. So you were talking about, like, I just want to back up, like, you know, just a little bit.
I've been on here a lot today.
But, you know, you said that you need it dumbed down, right?
Yeah.
And maybe Ray can attest to this, is that's why sponsorship is so important, right? I'm sure in the 40 some odd years, you've seen sponsors, you've had sponsors, you've sponsored, you've seen other men sponsor.
I've seen them die.
You've seen them die.
Yeah.
But it's an important aspect to have somebody that simplifies things for us whenever, this thing upstairs wants to run 1,000,000 miles an hour, or the fact that this program, it's like algebra, right? Recovery's a lot like algebra.
No, it's not.
It really is.
No, it's not. I can just if I'm doing math on a regular occasion, I can do crazy equations in my head.
But
I can't do this in my
The
head.
very first time you walked into a math class, did you immediately know how to do it?
Somewhat, not all of it.
But okay, we can work with that. How about you? When you first got, did I catch you in a moment? This is fantastic.
math.
I'll answer you.
Okay.
No.
Right. So when I first walk in, this is exactly like algebra. When I first walked into the algebra class, I had no idea what this was or how to do it or what it meant. I needed, and when I sat down, they didn't have somebody that just threw a book in front of me and said, there'll be a test at the end of the semester, best of luck to you. Right? No, I showed up and I practiced this every day. No, I didn't. I practiced Monday through Friday for an hour a day with somebody who knew how to do it and taught me. That's what recovery is.
I had to warm up with my counselor, and the people when I had treatment, it was over Zoom, and I had to just keep going, and it kept getting easier.
So it got easier as you kept going.
Yes.
So that's the other part that we struggle with. Like we're so used to instant gratification, right? Like that's our thing.
See, you said it got easier as you continued. My last bout at New Way, which I got kicked out of, blah 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 blah. It got more intense and harder to deal with the longer I was in it, and more uncomfortable.
It gets intense and uncomfortable, but like that's almost what made it comfortable, is because like the people around you knew a little more about you every day, because you have to talk to these people that you don't know, and I had it on Zoom calls, so it was a lot easier.
I was also in New Way at one point in time during the pandemic when it was on Zoom. I was always on my Xbox during that time.
And you got in trouble?
No.
No. Oh. Anyways.
I know how to pay attention while gaming.
But like I remember my first 10 months I was sober. And this was before including my 1 year. I went to the meetings and just was absolutely not trying to do what they were trying to do. I just showed up, maybe talked once or twice. And public speaking is never my thing, so public speaking on a phone where there's like 8 other people was also another thing I didn't really like. I got through it, whatever, graduated, ended up using. Then I went to Nystrom's and Associates again, and they had me in 6 months, 3 or 4 days a week for 4 hours.
And then so that's what you're talking about, how it got easier, right?
Yeah.
So like Alex was like saying, it's gotten more complicated. So did math, right? When I first started learning how to do math, it was, what is 1 plus 2? What is 2 plus 4?
Then they added the alphabet.
And then they started increasing bigger numbers, 26 plus 37. And then they started like doing, subtraction, learning to do that. Then they started saying like, let's do these timing and let's do division. Then they started adding alphabet. It kept getting more complicated, but the more I kept practicing at it, and the more that I used the previous knowledge that was given to me, the easier math got. It's the same way with recovery, right? We're supposed to continue leveling up, right?
Yep, we are.
So I guess that's going to lead me in my next deep dive question is, how are you leveling up today?
How am I leveling up? Well, I went to church this week to the, Serenity Village on Tuesday.
Okay.
I was there.
Were you?
Every Tuesday.
Yeah. That helps me to reconsider God in my life, to bring him back in when I'm trying to run the show myself. Automatically taking care of yourself despite your will.
Despite your will. That's really good. Despite taking care of myself, despite my will. Because my will is, if I let the ism part in, that wants to kill me. It wants me to drink. It wants me to get high. It wants me to do all the things that are going to slowly kill me. Because I'm really not that lucky where I'll get jail, institution, or death. I'm going to be one of those people that suffer for 30 years and just continuously get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. The first thing it's going to do is try to get me to isolate. right? Like that's what you're just talking about. When my will wants to take over, you know, it helps me get closer and grow despite my will, you know, despite the ism.
Well, you gotta. Well, for me, I have to take this stuff really seriously because I have older brothers that passed away, and I found one of my brothers dead, so from overdose of drinking, and it's pretty shocking to do those sort of things.
So I'm gonna post this up here. This guy that just or he didn't just comment this. He commented this back at 9:20. His name's Jeff Gerard. He said escalator, right? And I'll explain his escalator theory because Jeff's my sponsor, and the way that he describes the escalator is that, you know, I am constantly on walking up a downward escalator, right? When I go to a meeting, I take a step up. If I sit with my sponsor, I take a step up. When I pray and meditate, I take another step up. Whenever I sit there and work with another alcoholic, I take another step up. I never reach the top. Not while I'm alive, right? If I reach the top and I die sober, then God's there to welcome me aboard. But if I miss the meeting, or if I decide to disconnect from God a little bit, if I don't continue to grow and level up, the escalator is going to keep moving. And I'm staying still thinking like everything's fine, but I keep sliding down. Before I know it, I'm at the bottom. And then I'm you know, and I don't realize that I'm sliding backwards when the moment's happening. And that's why I stay active, so that I don't have to figure it out. Right? That I've had moments where I've slowly, people will recognize it in me before I recognize it in myself, that I'm starting to slide, you know, the escalator's coming down and I'm not moving up anymore. Luckily, I'm active enough towards people are around me that they catch me and they say, hey, you're coming down the escalator a little bit. You know, that Jeff uses that escalator analogy with a lot of new people that come in. It sticks with me, right? Like that sticks for me. But Jocelyn, what are you doing to move up the escalator?
My sponsor gave me an NA workbook, and I'm working on it, and I'm really thinking about it. So I'm not just, you know, being like just trying to get it done like an assignment. Like I'm working on it for myself. You know the NA workbook? Yeah. And other things, just I come to as many meetings as I can and get involved, and sometimes I don't speak, but I'm really like mentally processing things. And I don't mentally process much because I don't worry about much, you know. I'm very much of a what do you call it? Like winging it. I wing it.
You wing it?
Yeah, all the time.
I've heard the term "fake it till you make it."
Yeah.
Is that in the same realm here? Are we on the same field at least? Alex says, like, you know, he left the field.
He's on the blimp.
So fake it till you make it, is that along that same, like, that you were talking about?
No, I'm not trying to fake anything. I'm just trying to, like, like, now, you know, I mean, I definitely was when I was using fake it till you make it. My mom used to say that to me all the time. But, no, I'm really just, I wing things a lot, you know. I'm not the type, like, if I were to have a speech, I wouldn't sit there and have the speech and talk over it in my head. Because, like, for me, that's just complicated and gives me anxiety, you know. So, yeah, I kind of just go with the flow. I forgot what you were saying. I forgot what the question was.
You know, what are you doing to move up the escalator?
Yeah, just coming to meetings and getting involved, and soon I want to get into some, like, recovery volunteer, you know. Yeah, that's about it.
Right on. What's your escalator look like?
It's on Descend Rapid.
You're here, though.
He's here. He keeps showing up. He texts, you know, he texts with me. If not every day, every other day. Like Alex stays in contact with me, which, you know, that's not like, I make it
Sometimes
very
I should probably call, like that one day where you said you should have called.
Yeah, you should have called.
There was one instance where all of a sudden I had intense cravings where I was actually tasting dope in my mouth while there was no dope in my mouth. And it got to the point where I was like reaching out to people. Nobody was getting back to me through text. Didn't think about calling anyone, and it got to the point where I was like, well, if no one's at the sober house, I'm getting high today.
Was
And I
somebody at the sober house?
Yeah, my housemate was cooking. So I talked to him.
Right on.
Do you ever have using dreams?
Oh yeah, and that's actually a very normal thing.
I wake up so mad at myself.
Yeah, I woke up like freaking out one time. I'm like, what the heck? I was like, what are... And like the very first one I had, it was hilarious. Like I woke up laughing because like I realized immediately it was a dream, and it was you know, it was like there's a Kiss concert, right? And I'm not like I'm not a Kiss fan at all. Like I know like 2 songs, right? Detroit Rock City and Rock and Roll All Night, the same ones everybody else knows. And like in this dream after the show, like Gene Simmons comes to me. He's like, "Hey, come back with us, right?" And we get into like in my dream, we go in this limo and like we're smoking pot. And I woke up like just laughing. I'm like, "So that's where our line is, huh? Rock stars." And I'm just giggling my ass off because I'm like, that's not where I'm gonna go with this, right? Like that's not my thing. But then there's been other times where, you know, I had a dream that I went out to eat with my wife, and it seemed so real. Like, that's where it was. It was so real that we were at a restaurant, and the waiter came by, and they said, "I recommend this wine to pair with this." I don't even know what this was, right? And I was like, fantastic, right? Like, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? But, you know, I'm like, absolutely. And, you know, I smell it, and I taste it, and I'm like, please, right? Like, you know, I'll take a glass of that. And he filled it up, and like, I started sipping on it, but when I woke up, I was like, did I drink wine? I'm like freaking out. I'm looking around like, no, I didn't, because in my dream, that wine, I didn't finish that wine. I'm like, Dream Jake's not an alcoholic, I guess.
Do you ever have like in the dream when you have consequences? Like for me, like I've had dreams where I'll go out and have a good time, but then them consequences, and it's like everything goes on like everything goes downhill, like down escalator. Rapid, you know. But like in my dream, and I wake up like thinking I lost my house, or I lost my car, or I lost my job, or all of the above, you know. I wake up and I'm just like in a panic because I'm like, okay, did I really just use and loot and like, you know, or end up in prison, you know? Because if I don't stay clean now, I'll go to prison, you know. But that's why I'm so happy that I actually did, because I did the, you know, messing up a couple of times, and like this is the last one, you know. But will work made me think that you know, I actually enjoy it.
So
sober.
my using dreams seem to be quite different between everyone else's.
Well, I've had like the really intense ones. I was just
No,
touching on like the, you know, the funny ones.
So like in a sense, mine are completely different, because my using dreams, pretty consistently when I have them, I'm normally in a room full of people and we're all smoking dope. But every time it comes up to me, I skip myself and get up and walk out the room.
I don't get it. Then how was it a using?
No,
dream?
like that's how my using dreams are. When I first got clean back in like 2017, I'd have using dreams to the point where I'm waking up like thinking I'm coming down right now. But over the years, because I've been working on, I've had stints of 18 months, 21 months, 3.5 years clean and whatnot. But over the years, the dreams have changed to like, it'll be so real. Like I'll smell the dope in the dream, but like I'm not high yet. And right when it comes up to my turn, all of a sudden I just leave before using. And like, that's where my dreams have gotten to now.
Exciting.
That's
I thought
good,
I
I
thought you were going
believe
to talk
it.
about like, yeah, we were naked and it was insane, and somebody pulled out this drug that they just invented on the spot. And my first thought was, I can make that better. Right, like that's how my brain operates.
That's where your head went with what I said.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a very normal thing of recovery, especially early on. Do you remember early on, back when you got sober with Moses?
Yes, I can remember having drunk dreams.
Yeah. Did you wake up like thinking like you had
Yeah,
the consequence,
yeah,
or there was a thing going on?
No.
Are they staying? Or do you still have them now
No.
after 40 some odd years?
No.
So that's good news. They go away.
They go away.
We've got proof that they go away.
See, mine did a shift. Like I leave before I do it. His is just gone.
So I guess there's that progress. Like my last one was that wine incident where I woke up. I'm like,
It was about after 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got something to work towards. I got another goal that I get to appreciate. Are we boring you?
No, someone asked who's the woman speaker, and that was the gentleman who was up here earlier.
Oh, that's Coop?
Look it.
Well, I see it's Steven Cooper, but I don't know if that was Coop.
Oh, I wasn't talking. Yep.
Damn.
This mic though does pick up pretty well. I need to take one of your guys' seats. Who wants to give it up?
I got you.
Wait.
No.
What are you grateful for?
All of you guys. Everyone. Literally everyone. Everyone here in these group, like in these meetings, everyone that I talk to on a daily basis keeps me moving forward. I'm grateful for even bad insight and good insight.
Right on. Well, thank you for coming on the show, Jocelyn. It was a pleasure to have you, as always. And will we see you again, so long as your work schedule allows?
Yeah.
Right on.
Definitely.
Thanks, Jocelyn.
If everyone leaves the store, I get to close the store and get out of there.
Perfect. So we'll keep you that in our thoughts. That
I watch you guys when I'm at work. When I'm closing the store, I don't care that like my coworkers can hear. I have it on blast while I'm counting the register.
Right on.
All right.
I share it. I shared it last week. What you talking about? Okay. Bye, guys.
Let's bring in our next guest.
Oh, I'm a guest on the show.
All right.
I'm gonna head out, you guys.
I love you. Thank you for being here.
Let's welcome our next guest to the show. Who are you?
My name is Tim, and I'm an alcoholic and an addict.
Well, hi, Tim. How are you?
I'm good.
It's February, isn't it?
It's February.
It sure is.
What's the date today?
The 9th.
The 9th.
Oh shit! Didn't you just celebrate 6 years?
6 years on Wednesday, the 7th. 6 years. Yes, guys.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. What's one of those things you learned in years from year 5 to year 6?
I'm going to tell a brief story here. About a week ago, a buddy of mine named Dustin O, he was on the show earlier. He was like, "You got a birthday coming up?" I'm like, "Yep." He's like, "Where are we celebrating?" I was like, I don't care. Don't know. Not a big deal. He's like, "Wednesday up at Willwork. That's your day, right? That's your birthday. That's the day it's on." I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, I don't really go do meetings there. I do the podcast and I hang out during meetings, but it's like I don't engage in meetings at this club. Like I said, I share about 2218 where I get recovery. I talk about New Hope, Alano where I get recovery. Blaine, Fridley, Alano. I talk about 2218 quite a bit. Serenity Village. And he was like, "Bullshit. You're going to get a coin on Wednesday." I'm like, "Nah, dude, it's utter mayhem, all the newcomers." And something I completely forgot about that he reminded me of and shot me down pretty quick with my ego. He's like, pardon my language, everyone, who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah, who?
You've been given this, you took all this, you gained 6 years and now you're going to keep it? I'm like, no. He's like, "You don't think it's important for someone to hear how you got 6 years? And I knew right away. I'm like, shit, what an asshole. He's right. So I did. I came up here and I collected my coin. And I also gave Jess C her coin. She collected 6 years on Monday. I got mine on Wednesday. And it's things like that I like to share about is how easy I just forgot. Like I'd say for me, it was after about the 18-month mark, 2 years. It's not so much about me being selfish to get this recovery anymore. Granted, I do recovery just as hard today as I did on year 1, year 2. I do. I go to lots of meetings. I do a lot for my recovery, just as much now, if not more, than I did in the early days. But
I think it was about right after you got your 5 years last year that you spoke, right?
at New Hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was somewhere. They asked me to speak on Saturday. Yeah, I think it was. It was before I got my 5 years. But it was a deal, like when you asked me, it's like for some reason that's a big shining light in my head right now is how easily I forgot that I'm at a point where I get to say it's not about me. I've been given this, and now I got to practice that 12-step daily. And I justify by, well, I do the podcast, and I go to Fairview and speak once a month, or I do this service commitment or that. It's collecting a coin. It's something as small as that for me. I wanted pats on the back. I wanted parades. I wanted everyone from the rooftop putting it all over social media. Like, I got a year. And a lot of that was ego. And the other side was I'd get my coin and I knew people had to listen to me. I got to speak. How'd you do it? Well, fuck, I get 3 minutes to just blah, blah, blah. This is how, and blah, blah, blah. Ego came involved. But this last few years, I so easily forgot about that. And it's like, that right now is like really shining bright in my head. It's like, anyone can come get this. That's why I'm real adamant about saying, like, you're all worthy of this life. Like, you all deserve happiness. No one is void from getting happiness or getting what we have. It was given to me freely, so it's my turn to give to whoever else freely and share about this and how I got it. Like I just said, my whole life is recovery. From the vehicle I drive, I got it through someone in recovery, to the job I have, which I got through someone in recovery, to the girl I'm with is someone from recovery, to the pillow I rest my head on had something to do with recovery, the motorcycles I ride, everything in my life today is recovery. I have one friend that I hang out with who's probably one of my biggest supporters from before recovery. My whole life is recovery, and I'm proud of it. Like, I wouldn't change a thing. And anyone who's out there struggling, like, all I ask is, like, reach out. My number's scrolling across the bottom. Jake's willing to be here for anyone it's like, come get this. It's for the taking. I think that was so far from the question you asked me, but all right, I'm off my pedestal now.
You're on a roll.
Yeah. But 6 years, like, yeah, it's a miracle. There's no way 7 years ago that was even an option. 24 hours, was not an option for me. I came into the program. I don't have all right, so real quick too, relapse is not part of my story from when I walked in these rooms. But for 3 years before coming to this place, I thought I could stop. I thought I can quit. I'll just do heroin on the weekends. It's such an oxymoronic statement for me to say now. Like, this harm reduction, that wouldn't have worked for me. Maybe it will for someone else, but for me, it was either abstinence from everything or I'm going to keep using. For 3 years, I woke up every day saying, I'm done. I'm done. That night, I'd be high. So for 365 days, 365 days, 365 days, over 1,000 relapses in my story. It just didn't include coming here. Once I was completely beat and couldn't do it myself, I knew I need help. I need to ask someone how the hell to do this. How do I stop getting high? How do I stop using? How do I stop living this life? I couldn't do it on my own. Relapse after 1,000+ relapses, I came to you guys and begged for an answer. And I've been hanging on for dear life ever since and doing everything I was told in those first 18 months. Everything. I didn't let anything. There was not one thing someone suggested to me that I questioned. Nothing. God, meetings, sponsorship, stay away from women, do that. I didn't question it because I was so beat and I wanted this life of recovery so bad. Nothing was going to get in the way of that. I always talk about that. There was no roadblock you were going to put in front of me. And I try to make this joke. I still haven't made it well yet. But I am real glad today that you guys weren't some shit shoveling devil worshippers, because today I'd be a shit shoveling devil worshipper if that meant I get to stay clean. No, fortunately, you guys are God, like, you guys have higher powers and we're kind to one another. And like, this thing is like a good life. And today that's what I have because I listened to someone else. I couldn't figure it out on my own. Otherwise, I'd be dead or in jail or dead. I love living. I love this life. All right, that's good.
And the only shit we got to shovel is usually the stuff we cause.
My own shit.
Right.
My own shit. And here's how it is. Like, and I'll define it after I say it. You guys gave me something that I was supposed to do, is find a higher power. So I found that higher power and I trusted in that higher power. Then you said I needed to confess and get this shit off my chest. All my guilt, all my shame, share that shit. Step 5. I had to get rid of all that shit. And then I needed to go help people. I needed to do service work. I needed to give this shit back. Trust God, clean house, help others. Pretty damn simple. Yeah, it's a fucking mic drop. 10 o'clock on the ball sack, too. Look at that.
You got anything you want to plug?
Yes. We've got Tater Tot Hot Dish cracking off over at New Hope Alano on Saturday, the 24th. Damn, I got a good memory. We got Minac Minac comes up here at the end of every month on Sunday. They need positions filled. Come up here to Will Work for Recovery, 2520 North 2nd Street. Tonight there was a dance at 2218. Every Tuesday, Serenity Village has a recovery meeting. I do a men's meeting here on Wednesday at 5 o'clock And there's a women's meeting that happens here at 5 o'clock. Thursdays, I go to Squad 20. It's called Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover. That's at New Hope Alano. That's a men's meeting, 6:30. There's a women's meeting that night at New Hope Alano. Otherwise, every night at 7 p.m., there's a meeting here. Every morning at 6:30 a.m., there's a structured AA meeting called Solutions on 2nd Street. Every Sunday, there's a Bible study here. At 5:30, there's a structured AA meeting here. There's so much recovery, and I'm only touching maybe 1/10 of 1% of what you can come get in the Twin Cities. And the other thing I do want to always bring up is, well, American Pie Pizza too. They come in here and bring in delicious pizzas. I ask you to share this show with anyone you think that could hear about some recovery, as well as if you're struggling. If you're struggling, just please reach out to someone that you know in recovery, or come down here and find someone. Jake, he probably got a new sponsee tonight, and it's just the bonds you make in these rooms. Someone will hear you share, or you hear someone share. Get uncomfortable and go grab them for dear life and ask them, like, help me, please help me. No one's going to shy away or shut you down. They'll put you in contact with someone. That's the plugs.
Alex, you got any plugs?
What?
Ray, you got any plugs?
Well, Fridley's having spaghetti and Valentine's Day dance and stuff like that. Just call Fridley Alano and tell you when.
Ray, what's your gratitude look like? I just stole your thunder. I am so sorry, dude. I'm the guest. I'm so sorry. I take that back. What were you asking, Ray?
Ray, what's your gratitude?
My gratitude is that I have a cat. I love my cat.
I miss my cats.
I love my cat. My cat
What's
bugs
your cat's
me,
name?
but baby.
Baby.
My cat is actually my dog's pet. I make that joke all the time. Like, if they didn't get along so well, that cat would have been gone, because she likes to scratch my doorpost. I wouldn't really get rid of her, but I'm like, Millie, you're lucky your cat is yours. Alex, you got anything you want to plug?
I don't know if I'm remembering the day correctly, but Midway Club normally has a speaker meeting / like potluck style, if I recall correctly, the last Saturday of the month. And I believe it's at 6 or 7 p.m. I can get that confirmation and verify on another date.
And you can always call Midway Club.
Oh, yeah, I know. I have plenty of people that go there.
Oh, yeah.
What is your gratitude?
My gratitude? Probably have to go with how humbling this past week has been.
Wow.
Right on.
Jake, what is your
I was trying to think of some fancy way to say it, but that's about.
This is the part where, like, when Alana used to be on the show all the time, like, we'd race to see who'd be like. She knew I was doing gratitude with everyone. Right before I get to her, she'd be like, "Hey Tim, Jake, what's your gratitude look like?"
My gratitude is the community. I probably had the most roller coaster week of emotions between work and then, like, being so burnt out from that, and then, like, being able to go to my godmother's 50th birthday party, and then diving right back into this and like that, and being able to have people around me that are able to hold me up when I want nothing more than to just implode, to be like, at least this would, put me on a level that I'm comfortable with, or something I know or I'm familiar with. So I'm really thankful and grateful that there's all these people in this community that come before me and that continue to love me through my character defects. That's the big one. People have loved me through my character defects.
Shit, that's a good one. Yeah, people hated me because of mine before recovery.
Exactly.
Hated.
People couldn't be in the same room with me. I'm going to plug one quick thing.
Go ahead.
Tomorrow night, 6 p.m. at the Robbinsdale Alano is our Valentine's Bingo. Come on by. We have the worst bingo caller ever, according to one person on Yelp. And
Tell me you're the bingo caller.
I'm the bingo caller.
Yeah! Yeah. I know they're full of shit. So they lost every round and just were hating.
So it's going to be a fantastic time. There's going to be donuts and candy and popcorn provided.
And
just
then
for
during
showing up.
that bingo, there's also a Saturday night young persons meeting
There
going on
is. At
upstairs.
7 o'clock, there'll
So if
be
you want to
young
come
persons
early, get some bingo, then get a meeting and come back to bingo, Or just come
It's
for
an
one or
option.
both.
Yeah, it's an option. There's so much good stuff going at Robbinsdale tomorrow. Doors will open at 5:30, and you can come by and hang out.
Possibly earlier if I get there early.
It definitely will be earlier. But if nobody told you tonight that you are loved, know that I love you. Tim loves you. We're grateful that you guys listened to the show tonight. And oh yeah, that's one of the cute things. It's like I have my bingo calls like B4, and I stop and go B4, and everyone goes you drink, and I'll yell call your sponsor.
Nice. Come on, who could ask for a better caller than that?
Exactly. So you are loved. You're worth it. Go out and get your recovery wherever it is. There's plenty of places. Twin Cities has the strongest recovery community that I have encountered. There is a solution out there. All you have to do is show up. I love you. Tim loves you. Thank you again. We'll see you next week.
I love you, Johnny McHugh. Everyone who checked in tonight, we love you. Thank you for the support. How do I not steal your thunder? I'm